Well, hello. I'm Amr Halim, and this is Creed Opening Night Live. The band's going to take the stage here at Phillips Arena real soon. But right now, you got Tantric on stage, just wrapping up their set. All right, now, before we talk about the Weather Tour and how they're going to rock your world, we're going to show you what rocks Creed's world. I spent a few days hanging out with them down in their home state of Florida. If you thought Lou Pearlman and his boy band Militia were the main musical force that came out of Florida, think again. Creed's crushing rock riffs, reflective lyrics, and potent live shows have made them one of the biggest rock bands in the world.
Are you ready? Are you ready for what's to come?
Along with an opening night live show tonight that will blow you right through the roof. In the next half hour, we will also answer the searing questions that Creed fans are dying to know, like will Mark Tremonti star in the remake of Tommy?
It's all about the super jackpot.
Will Scott Phillips teach me how to break par?
Oh my gosh, I think you almost hit the guy in the little cart machine.
And will Scott Stapp smile?
That's a good one.
We're here in Atlanta counting down to the very first gig of Creed's 2002 Weather Tour. It's VH1 Opening Night Live. Oh, in my next life, I want to come back as a rock star. The rock stars on stage right now, like I said, are guys from Tantric. Now, individually, they may be three guys named Scott, Scott, and Mark, but together they are Creed, and that means they are one of the biggest rock bands in the world. Creed's latest release, Weathered, has currently sold over 4 million copies and absolutely refuses to release its stronghold on Billboard's #1 spot. It's been there for 8 weeks and counting. The opening week sales for Weathered were more than 800,000, roughly triple the first week's sales for their last album, Human Clay. Not bad for three guys who've only been playing together since the mid-90s and called themselves Naked Toddler. Guitarist Mark Tremonti and singer Scott Stapp first met when they were in school together at Lake Highland Prep in Florida. Drummer Scott Phillips joined the equation in 1995. Once they started jamming together, the band's introspective lyrics, heavy sound, and electrified stage presence won them an immediate and loyal following. After scraping together $6,000, they financed and recorded their first album, My Own Prison, which basically blindsided the nation when it sold over 5 million copies and made Creed the first group ever to score 4 #1 rock radio singles from a debut album. Their follow-up, Human Clay, entered the charts at #1 in 1999 and proceeded to sell over 10 million copies. And then came the awards. 6 from Billboard, a Grammy, 2 American Music Awards, and 4 My VH1 Music Awards.
Thank you all so much.
Way before the accolades, though, it was Creed's live show that made the most noise, which brings us to the Weather Tour. Creed is preparing to take these songs from the new album and deliver them for the first time to their many anxious fans across America. After opening night in Atlanta, they will be preaching their hard-rocking message all across the country in cities like Houston, Boston, and Kansas City, among many others. Thank you. Good night. It's Tantric signing off. Now, Creed's riveting ballads come from the heart and soul of singer-songwriter Scott Stapp. There aren't many hard rock singers who connect with the audience like Creed's frontman. He puts everything into his performances, and the crowd responds in kind. Scott may have been influenced by his upbringing in a strict Pentecostal household, but today he's a rock superstar with some influence of his own. Case in point, his mother wears leather pants to his concerts. During a break from rehearsals for the Weather Tour, I got a chance to hang out with Scott in Florida, and we talked about life, liberty, and fart machines.
Scott
spot. We're here in beautiful, beautiful, scenic Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, why did you guys decide to stay here? But I think the answer speaks for itself.
Yeah, the weather's very nice here, and my family's here. I grew up here. I got a lot of friends here, and I know the area real well. One night, me and some buddies were out here. There was a dare or a bet, and we were kind of riled up and swam from that edge over there to the fountain there and back. There's some swans over there, and after taking my date to McDonald's in a limo, because I spent all my money on the limo, and so I didn't have enough for dinner. So I thought I'd set up a little candlelight section at McDonald's and try to, I got a sense of humor, so I was trying to like find the humorous side of it, and I'm trying to get, a big fat kiss or something, and totally got denied.
Well, you talked about your sense of humor right now, and some people don't see that side of Scott Stapp, right? They see Scott, the intense lead singer of Creed. What makes you laugh?
Me and Scott and Mark, we really enjoy like making fun of each other, telling jokes and getting reactions out of people are funny.
Anything come to mind that may have happened that you can talk about?
When I was doing my Christmas shopping, I carried this little, it was this machine, it's called the fart machine. And I carried it in my pocket. And I was in the mall, and I know people recognize me. I got that in mind, so I walk up next to this kid, and I had the machine in my pocket, and I push the button, and it just lets one go, The actual thing about that is I was trying to make him think it was him.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe he had one just slip, and then, then I was going to be like, oh. And I totally keep a straight face the whole time. And he's looking at me, and he knows exactly who I am,
Right.
It's fun to get when, like, you're taking a girl out on a date, and you got two of your friends, and, Mark and his girl in the back seat, and I'll push the button, and it'll come from her side of the truck. It kind of breaks the ice the first date, you know what I mean? That's a good one.
Your parents, how have they looked at your success now?
My relationship with my parents is wonderful. My mom is so funny when she comes to shows. She's got black leather pants on, and she's a rock star mom, and she looks more like a rock star than I think anyone in the band does.
You had once said that if you were 6'5", you'd be in the NBA.
I definitely would be in the NBA.
Yeah?
Yeah. Every guy that's 5'10" would say that if I was 6'5", I'd be in the NBA, especially if he plays basketball.
What's your Game 7 scenario?
I want to take the last shot. I want the ball. I'm not afraid to be in that situation. I want to be that guy.
What is it like for you when you go on stage? Is there sort of a comparable feeling?
It's totally different than sports. It's not a competition. And I think that's why I stay so involved in sports outside of music, because that's where I can keep that competitive edge, that competitive spirit I have going. But with music, it's more about sharing, and it's more about just unity and bringing things together, and it's not about winning or losing.
What a great guy, Scott Stapp. And we'll introduce you to the rest of the guys in a matter of moments, because we're probing deep inside Creed's world while we wait patiently at Phillips Arena here on VH1 Opening Night Live. Coming up, you don't want to go anywhere, because we're mere minutes away from one of the first gigs of Creed's Weather Tour. In Atlanta, Georgia, where Creed is going to hit the stage to kick off their Weather Tour. Now, Scott Stapp's songwriting partner is Creed guitarist Mark Tremonti. Together, they have crafted some of the most riveting rock music of the last decade. Last week, while I was in Florida hanging out with the band, I made a harrowing discovery concerning Mark's serious addiction to what they call the silver ball. Take a look. What makes this one stand out for you among all the machines that you have?
Well, I'm real into medieval kind of stuff because I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And it's just a real fast playing machine. A lot going on.
Especially when you're juggling a couple of balls at the same time.
Yeah. It's always fun.
You ever get worried that if you play too much pinball, it'll affect your guitar playing because of all the dexterity you need?
No, man, it gives you more dexterity.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I love pinball.
Yeah.
You know, I bought my first house and I had a bunch of room, and I've always loved pinball, so I went a little wacky.
Yeah.
I bought, you know, 17 pinball machines, and I love them all. You notice a lot of musicians like pinball because it's more of like an instrument where you have to. It's an acquired skill. You know, you play more, you get better, and you're playing the same machine, and you're trying to master each one of these machines, and it's kind of like trying to master an instrument. I love to get on stage and play. It's the biggest rush in the world to play a concert, and it's something that you start getting used to doing, and it's kind of an addictive habit. We've taken this last year off, and there's just something missing from your life, and that's getting up on stage and releasing all that energy, playing for, you know, your fans. I put on a different act when I'm on stage than my normal life, so I think people are shocked at first. I'm a pretty introverted guy, but, you know, it's not how people see me on stage. You live two lives. You live your normal life where you go to Blockbuster Video and you go out to dinner with your friends and you live a normal life, and then like this upstairs here is, you know, I got my records and all that's my rock life. You know, being on stage is my rock life, and it's kind of like I'm a paranoid schizophrenic. You know, I'm two different people, completely different people. I'm a crazy wild man on stage.
Yeah, you are, and you really stake your territory. You put your leg right up there on the abs, right? And it's like, you know, don't mess with this guy.
If I didn't have something to put my foot on, my whole show would be gone.
Really?
Yeah, it's just my balance.
Do you have more guitars than pinball machines, or is it?
It's probably about even.
How many of them go on the road with you?
Probably about 10. To me, the guitar player was always the cool guy that I'd always watch in the band. I was always into music. I got my first guitar when I was 11.
He is a 12-year-old trapped in a 27-year-old's body.
When 14 hit, he just decided he was going to be 14 for the rest of his life.
I've always been a kid at heart, and just I want to have fun playing, you know, competitive sports and pool and ping pong and pinball, and just make fun out of life, you know. All right, now let's see how many ramps I can get in a row here. It's all about the super jackpot.
It is all about the super jackpot, and those fans who were lucky enough to get tickets to this show here at Phillips Arena in Atlanta hit the jackpot. This tour is in fact sold out. The first leg of it, the Weather Tour 2001.